AISec Intel, Day 19, AI and GCCs, securing enterprise-scale AI across global capability centers. Take a deep breath, slow pacing begins. Today, we enter a space where global capability centers, the heartbeats of enterprise technology, evolve into something far more powerful. They are no longer just support units. They are the nerve centers of enterprise-scale AI. As you see this opening slide, imagine yourself stepping into a global map where each dot, each connected line represents a GCC powering the world's most influential institutions. From India to Poland to Mexico to Singapore, these centers are not just delivering processes, they are architecting intelligent futures. And day 19 is special because today we look at the intersection of scale, intelligence, governance, and trust. AI in GCCs is not just an operational story, it is a story of responsibility, a story of distributed power, a story where every AI model, every inference, every prompt, every data set travels across continents, carrying both potential and risk. Your role as a leader, innovator, or security professional is to hold both ends of this spectrum, the promise of intelligence and the protection of trust. So settle in, slow your mind. Let today feel like a guided journey where each slide adds a new layer of understanding, a new lens through which you view GCC-led AI transformation. Welcome to AISec Intel Day 19. Why GCCs are the engine of enterprise AI? Look closely at this slide because what you see here is not simply information. It is the truth of the modern digital world. GCCs, once seen as cost optimization hubs, have quietly transformed into the intellectual powerhouses of AI-enabled enterprises. Today, GCCs run innovation labs where new models are born. They run scale engines where pilots become global solutions. They are talent hubs where world-class AI, cybersecurity, platform engineering, and MLOps expertise resides. But there is something deeper here. GCCs sit at the intersection of technology, governance, business value, and global execution. They are the perfect storm of capability. And this creates both opportunity and complexity. On one hand, GCCs drive AI forward with speed, building models, fine-tuning LLMs, running experimentation, automating operations. On the other hand, their distributed nature means data moves across countries, models deploy across regions, and compliance rules shift based on boundaries. So the question becomes, how do we empower these centers to innovate boldly while protecting them from the expanding threat landscape of AI? That is the journey we explore in this module, because the future of enterprise AI is not built in one headquarters. It is built in dozens of GCCs across continents, working together securely, intelligently, and responsibly. AI adoption across GCCs. Now, imagine walking into a GCC floor today. You see data engineers building lakes and feature stores. You see platform engineers building AI platforms with pipelines and self-service tools. You see model developers fine-tuning domain LLMs. You see AI ops teams monitoring drift, hallucinations, and inference pipelines. You see production teams deploying models with CI/CD, high availability, multi-region redundancy. This is the modern GCC. It runs across the entire stack: data engineering, model development, testing, deployment, monitoring, lifecycle optimization. This slide reflects a powerful truth. GCCs are not one piece of AI. GCCs are every piece of AI, every workload, every model lifecycle, every layer of innovation, from creation to scaling to production governance. This is why the role of GCCs is now strategic, not operational. And as adoption grows, so does the need for trust, consistency, resilience, and secure by design execution. AI in GCCs is not just technical capability. It is enterprise-wide coordination, discipline, and harmony across global teams. As we move to the next slide, Remember this stacking of layers because the risks grow in the same way, layer by layer, connection by connection, decision by decision. Key AI security challenges for GCCs. Here, the reality becomes clearer. Operating AI across multiple GCCs means dealing with distributed risk. Security challenges are not just points, they are waves that travel across continents, teams, and ecosystems. Let's slow down and walk through each one. Multi-region governance. Every country has different data protection laws, different compliance rules, different AI restrictions. Yet GCCS must maintain a unified enterprise posture. This tension between local adaptation and global standardization is complex, fragile, and critical. Supply chain dependencies from model providers to open source components to APIs to annotation partners, the AI supply chain is massive, and every connection is a potential vulnerability. Shadow AI proliferation, developers running unauthorized tools, personal API keys, Hugging Face models, local experiments, browser plugins, all outside governance. This is today's fastest growing enterprise risk. Vendor integration complexity. Every SaaS integration, every cloud service, every API opens another door. Some safe, some unknown, some risky. Distributed data flows, data moves across clouds, across GCCS, across business units. With sovereignty laws tightening globally, this becomes a high stakes puzzle. What this slide is telling us is simple. GCCS cannot scale AI with old security approaches. They need AI native, multi region, zero trust by design security models. This sets the stage for the operating model in the next slide, GCC operating model. This slide is the architecture of order in a world of AI-powered complexity. The GCC operating model follows three tiers, and each has its own rhythm, its own responsibilities, its own impact. Tier 1, Central AI Center of Excellence, COE. This is the guiding brain, the lighthouse, the place where enterprise AI strategy is born. It defines the standards, the security frameworks, the policies, the governance model. It provides the common platform used across GCCS. It is the central intelligence. Tier 2, regional GCC hubs. These are the executors and the adapters. They take global strategy and translate it into regional compliance reality. They build and deploy solutions. They manage operational security. They ensure that innovation moves fast but never breaks trust. Tier 3, local business units. These are the consumers, the use case owners. They provide domain insights, they test solutions, they adopt AI into their workflows, and critically, they report issues, drift, failures, anomalies. Together, this stack creates harmony, enterprise direction, regional intelligence, local execution. This model reduces risk, it increases clarity, it keeps security consistent while allowing innovation to breathe. As we complete part one, remember this structure because the next slides build on it, strengthen it, expand it, multi-cloud AI security. Pause here for a moment and picture a global enterprise operating AI not in one cloud, but in three: AWS, Azure, GCP, each one powerful, each one different, each one essential. This is where the reality of GCCS becomes complex and beautiful, because GCCS rarely run AI in a single environment. They operate in a multi-cloud universe where every cloud provider has its own IAM model, its own encryption standard, its own monitoring tools, its own compliance certifications. And this diversity is both a strength and a challenge. On the screen, you see the three pillars: AWS AI security, SageMaker governance, Bedrock Guardrails, IAM for ML workloads, Azure AI security, OpenAI service controls, ML Studio security, Entra ID integration, GCP AI security, Vertex AI protection, workload identity, AI platform policies. Each cloud brings unique capability, but security must stay consistent even when technology is not. Secrets must rotate across clouds. Policies must align across IAM systems. Incident response must operate across platforms. Guardrails must enforce the same logic everywhere. Multi-cloud AI is like conducting an orchestra where each cloud plays a different instrument, but the music must feel unified. The GCC teams who master this become the backbone of enterprise AI resilience, data security in global AI systems. Now, let's slow down again, because this slide takes us to the heart of AI, data. Global capability centers deal with data that moves across borders, across clouds, across business units, across regulatory jurisdictions, and with that movement comes a sacred responsibility. This slide highlights 4 pillars, each one a guardianship duty. Data residency. Some data must never leave certain countries. Financial data, healthcare records, government regulated data sets. GCCs must ensure data, model artifacts, and logs remain within approved regions. Point. Data sovereignty. Every nation has its own definition of ownership. Some require local storage, some require government access controls, some limit remote access. GCCs must comply without slowing AI operations, cross-border transfers, GDPR, CCPA, and new global regulations place heavy restrictions, standard contractual clauses, binding corporate rules, encryption in motion, all become non-negotiable. Encryption strategy. This is where security becomes deeply technical, key rotation, regional key distribution, encrypting model training datasets, even training on encrypted datasets. This slide reminds us data is not just an asset, data is a responsibility, and GCCs must protect it with absolute precision. Model lifecycle at GCC scale. Every AI model, just like every human journey, has a life cycle. And at GCC scale, this life cycle becomes a global choreography. Let me paint this picture for you. A model begins as an idea. It moves into development. It gets tested, validated, hardened. It gets deployed with canary rollouts. It gets monitored for drift, performance, anomalies. Eventually, it retires. This slide beautifully lays out this life cycle: development, testing, deployment, monitoring, sunsetting. But what makes GCCs different is the governance gates and security checkpoints built into each stage. Security checkpoints include vulnerability scanning, model card documentation, adversarial red teaming, anomaly detection, data quality validation. Governance gates include approval workflows, compliance validation, CI/CD policy enforcement, audit trail maintenance. This is not optional. At GCC scale, this is mandatory. What this slide teaches us is simple. AI without lifecycle governance is chaos. AI with governance becomes a controlled, traceable, trustworthy ecosystem. And GCCs are the ones responsible for maintaining that discipline across continents. Shadow AI in GCC environments. This is one of the most important slides of the entire module. Shadow AI, the invisible enemy, the quiet risk, the unmonitored danger, the accidental but severe breach point. In every enterprise, developers experiment. Data scientists try new tools. Teams test models without approvals. People integrate APIs using personal accounts, not maliciously, but without governance. This slide brings that reality to light. Unauthorized model usage, pre-trained models copied from GitHub or Hugging Face, without license checks, without security scanning. Unmanaged API integrations, direct API calls to OpenAI, Anthropic, Cohere, using personal or untracked credentials, exposing sensitive data. Rogue browser plugins, plugins that vacuum corporate content and send it to third-party servers. Local experimentation, models run on personal laptops, unmonitored, unsecured, invisible to the enterprise. Shadow AI is not a technical issue, it is a cultural issue, a visibility issue, a governance issue. This slide reminds us that the biggest threat to enterprise AI is not an external hacker, It is internal, unintentional, uncontrolled experimentation. And GCCs must lead the movement to bring shadow AI into the light through policies, guardrails, platform access, visibility. Securing enterprise AI platforms. This slide is the engineering heart of secure AI. It shows the layers, the shields, the mechanisms that protect models, data, and infrastructure while empowering innovation at full speed. Let's walk through each one slowly, intentionally. AI guardrails. These protect against prompt injection, toxic outputs, harmful instructions, misuse. Guardrails become the first line of defense in protecting LLMs in real time. Access control, zero trust meets AI, RBAC, ABAC. Just-in-time access, dataset level permissions, model level permissions, fine-grained controls that stop misuse before it begins. Secret rotation, API keys, database credentials, encryption keys, they must rotate automatically across all GCC locations through centralized secret stores like Vault AWS, Secrets Manager, Azure Key Vault. Model registries. This is where structure emerges, a central catalog of approved models, versioning, lineage tracking, security metadata, cryptographic signatures. No model should enter production without being registered. Together, these four layers create AI platform security that is predictable, measurable, enforceable, scalable. This is what allows GCCs to innovate fast because the foundation is secure.